Transformers More Than Meets the Eyes is Chucky from Collecting for Fun, and today we are going to finish our review and transformation of the Constructicons into Devastator. Now, usually I like to transform them from one mode into the final mode and back again, but because that will take so long, I'm just going to transform it into Devastator, and we're just going to review Devastator as is, okay? So we are going to start with the torso because that is probably going to take the longest to do. And so we are going to start, my friends, with the two parts that are going to form the torso here, which is Hook, and he's going to form the head. We're going to take his gun off here, and we're going to, as well as Long Haul, which is going to finish the middle part or the bottom part of the torso, or mid and bottom torso. Okay, so this is going to take a few steps and to do, and so bear with me because this is going to take a little bit of time to get this done. So we're going to lift this part here. Ugh, just lift that a little bit to release it. We are going to flip the hands down on both sides, and then we are going to lift the hook up here and just kind of flip this thing in a little bit, and then from there we are going to lift the head up here. That's where the head is, and then we're going to also lift the leg parts down here, or the feet flap parts down, and then okay, and then we're going to basically kind of start to loosen the mid part here so we can kind of rotate everything together after. Get that moving. Let's turn that around, and we're just basically going to get these two parts here to eventually interlock here. Just lock that into place, and then we're going to get the head. You see this starting to form the head right there. I'm going to lock that into place as well. And so the head's backwards right now, so we're going to flip that around. Okay. And then we just got to kind of tuck in the feet now. We're going to just kind of bend these back in here. Lock that into place. We're going to get the hands tipped in there and kind of get those, get the hands locked, turned in. And then we're just going to flip this hand down and lock that into place. So this hand, it looks like it stays where it is. We're going to flip this around and get this back over here. And so from here, we're just going to finish up getting things ready. So we got to lift that part up, flip this around so the arm can attach. And on the other side, is there anything we got to do there? We got that ready. So yeah, looks like we got that all set there. And I'm just going to make sure all the joints are locking. This needs to come back down. Oh, the head's not completely locked in, so let's shove that in a bit more. There we go. Let's pull his head out a bit. Oops, that's too much. All right, so we're off to a great start. The head is starting to look really, really nice. And so let's plop that down and get ready to work on long haul. Oh, one thing I forgot. Underneath here is a little tag here. We're going to flip that down. That's also very important to help lock it into place. And now that's ready. Okay, so let's look at long haul. We're going to separate the caboose and just open that up there. So first thing, we're going to release the, oops, got to take the gun off. We're going to flip the legs down, and we're going to lift the arms out as well. Unlock those. And then we got to flip the arms in this time. And we're going to lift the arms out. And like that. And we're going to kind of basically turn the arms back this way and then kind of lock them into place. Kind of like so. Let's see. Bend those back, bend these back. And then, yeah, we just gotta bend those arms back. I guess I have to turn this a little bit. Turn this a little bit. So there's a locking thing right there that locks into the spot there. So let's see if I can bend that in properly. There we go. Same thing on this side. Lock. Oh, gotta lock that into place. There we go. And then we just basically have to lock the little chuck here into there. And same thing onto this side. Ugh, get in there. All right, I think that got that part right. Very, very good. All right, so now we are going to work on the leg part. We have to bend them in and just kind of lock that in like that. So we're going to flip this part out and kind of fold it in on itself there. Let's make sure all these legs are locked in. Oops, sorry, that's off camera. Let's do that again. So that's locked in there. And last but not least, we have to secure the top. So we're going to flip these feet down and they're going to lock into there. Okay, so let me just bend that in. And I believe that is all we have to do with the actual long haul figure itself. So if we did that right, then it looks like the this part should connect with the top part. So let's just double check that it does. So this part here should slide into here. So it looks like this part snaps into this part and this part here snaps into here. So let's see if that's the case. There we go. And then it looks like we have some security in the back as well that we just kind of lock into place. And so now, my friends, we're starting to see some formation of that. Now we're going to get the next part of the puzzle done, which is this part here. So we're going to start by taking off the side wings and the components. So these will form to become the chest plates. So we'll get those connected for that. And then we're going to take off the hands here. And then also this part here. So this part, I think this faces down and these parts will go on top and that we will snap onto the chest plate right there. I think we have to have at least one or two of the arms on, so we'll connect that all at the end. These will become the hands. I believe we just flip these out. There we go. And the hands do open. And let's get the hands out here, put those out, and get that open. So the caboose kind of carries a lot of the central parts that we need to finish Devastator. Hands, chest plate. There's also the gun that came with Scrapper. So we're going to get that ready there. Okay, so now we're going to work on the caboose. So the caboose is interesting. We're going to flip the this part out. Ugh. This is really stiff. We're going to flip this out there. Make sure that's flat. Okay. And then we're going to do like a bend here and kind of compress this back here. Oops, this is supposed to be like that. Okay. And then we are going to snap this part back up here. The hook here can stay out. And then basically from here, we're turn that son of a gun around. We're going to flip these pads up. And then we're going to lift the legs down. Ratchet those suckers down. Flip those back down again. And so now it's starting to look like, you know, the mid-torso part. This is the bottom where the legs attach and the bottom part there. this will kind of jimmy up. We have to do both of these to slap out. So this is going to be a notch that fits underneath there. And for some reason, I think I have to lock this in better in the back. Let's see. This comes in like that, I guess. Okay, so now we're going to just basically combine. So this, they have a couple attachments for the front here. So let's get this part in first. That's the most important part there. Oops, I don't have that quite straight. Uh-oh, that's because this is not locked in properly. Let's lock that in better. And then we're going to lock that into place. And then we're going to lock this back part into place as well. All right, so we have this part of Devastator done. Let's take a look at looking at transforming the rest of it. So we are, we're doing well. We got the torso ready. And now it's just basically getting the arms and legs attached to this fella. So we're going to push this back. I'm going to actually put this down a bit. We're going to do let's do it maybe like that. We're going to get the legs ready first because we can't do much. We can't stand it up without the legs. So we'll get the legs ready first. So let's get Scrapper here. And Scrapper is going to be the right leg. So we're going to unhinge this. Get this thing down. We're going to lift this hooky thing up. Let the arms out. And we're going to flip them upside down. And then we're going to just lock them in. Lock those in. And then we are going to take a look here. Flip these legs out. Looks like we're pulling out the hands to give it more stability. And that should be that. And then we're just locking this part out in the front. And this thing needs to turn up. And let's see about the feet. Yeah, I think we pretty much got that. I think that's pretty much it. We got the legs out there. I think we just have to lock. Do we have to lock this in a bit more, or is this locked in? There we go. Looks like we have to just lock these legs, arms in. We'll put these hands out a bit. And so this is all set there. Just want to make sure the mid-torso looks good. Get the leg up a bit. All right, so this is going to be one of the tent poles that's going to hold in Devastator. So that's Scrapper, and that's the right leg there. I believe it just slides in. Let's see how this goes in. Just slide in there, or we have to compress it in? Yeah, so it looks like in order to attach the legs, we're going to unhook these a little bit. And then we are going to kind of compress it in. There's a slot here it attaches to. Yeah. And, oops. This has to go how far in? That goes in about there. And the rest kind of slide in as well. There we go. All right, so that's, oops. That's 1 foot in. All right, now we're going to work on Mixmaster. All right, so here's Mixmaster. I got his gun off here. So with Mixmaster, we have to kind of jiggle off his faceplate, or this foot thing here. So let me just see how that comes off. Ugh, there we go. Kind of lift that up, and we're going to flip this in up here. So again, that's flipping this all the way up here, and we just got to lock that in. Ooh, tight locking. Oh, ugh. There, you got to muscle that in there. Like most of the transformers, sometimes those joints are really, really tight. And now we're going to kind of create some more support for the feet so it doesn't flop over. We're going to flip those things down here, and then we just got to loosen the hands out, and they just kind of stay like that. And yeah. Okay, so let's see how this connects in. It looks like for this one, we're just going to slide that in. Let's see, I don't have to fold this thing in, do I? No, it stays out. So we're just going to basically slide this in. I wonder how it slides in with that thing away. Oh, I see. So we have to flip this down. So open that up so that we can slide this in. All right, and now we clip that into there. So now we got some feet. All right. This is starting to come along, guys. Starting to come along. I think that's not locked in. Okay, very good. So we have Devastator kind of standing like that now. And so we are going to start working on the arms in just a sec. Given how large Devastator is, I'm just going to reposition the camera a little bit here so we can actually kind of see Devastator. And you can see he's much, much taller than the background now that we had there. Very, very large. So he's coming together very nicely. Very, very nicely. So let's go ahead and we're going to get Scavenger up. He's going to be one of the arms. He's going to go on this side, the right arm there. And so let's lift him up, lift this up here. We're going to kind of compress the crane part here. We're going to pull the legs out here. And then there's this kind of mechanism in the underneath here. This is the arm part here. So we're going to lift that down. And we're going to kind of lift this part up here, and then we're going to just kind of lock, but we got to flip out some stuff and then lock the legs in. So let me just see. This part comes down. I think that's it. Yep. And then we're going to lock this down here. And I have to, sorry, there's one other part here that's supposed to come out. Yeah, so we're just basically flipping this part in, and then we're just locking that part together. Just lock that together. And that is there. And I'm just checking to see if there's anything else. Oh, this gun can come off here. We don't need that on. I guess you can keep it on there. It doesn't really interfere with anything that I know of. And so the only thing we got to do now is just going to flip that over, and then that's pretty much ready. And I think this hand should just clip onto here like that. So I guess that goes in like this. All right, so that's the hand there. Yep, that's the hand there. And it looks like we just have to get that to slide into that joint there. So let me see if I can just kind of push that down there. Yeah, I think that's in there. There we go. We snapped it down. Very good. So now we got an arm. Yeah, that's coming together very nicely. Now we just got to do Bone Crusher and get the left arm ready. So with Bone Crusher, we're just going to grab this part over here. Let's get that a little bit more centered. We're going to grab this. We're going to take the gun off here. And we're going to lift or pull, sorry, we're going to pull the legs apart here. And we're going to get this part out here. This is the part that's going to attach to the arm, I believe. And then we're going to bend in this part here, and there's a little part here similar to the other side that we have to flip out. Ugh, there we go. And I'm pretty sure that'll have to lock into place once we have these together. Oops, there we go. There we are. That locks into there. Okay. And we get this lined up properly. The legs are locked in. Got those legs locked in. Perfect. Okay, so lastly, we just got to flip the hand ready to go. So that's there. And this thing has to turn out a bit. And let's get the hand here. Let's see how this attaches. Does it attach this way? Yeah, it attaches that way. So the hand turns like that. And I believe there's got to be a way to slide. Whoops, I think that was the part there. So right there, I think we just kind of slide that down as well. Let's get that down. I think that's down all the way. Nope, it's not down all the way. Let's get that down more. There we go. Now that's down all the way. Okay. All right. So this part moves, this part's anchored in. Okay, so now we're just going to finish this up. It looks like we just got to get the chest plate on, get the gun in, and we are rocking and rolling. Okay, let's get the chest piece on here. So you can see that this part here will slide into these two slots right there. So let's make sure that's lined up properly. And then I think there's got to be other clips that this needs to attach into. Yeah. All right, let's get this in here. Yes, so let's get this straight. It looks like, let me get this off. So there's two pins here, one there and one there, that we have to also slide these two pins into this side and that into there. So let's do all that. That goes there, these go there, and that goes into the middle. Oop, let me just make sure that's in right. I don't think it is. Let's stand up so I can see it. Okay, that's there, that's there, that's there. And it looks like, oops, I heard a snap, but it didn't quite snap in. I don't know if I have to get the chest plate a bit more in. So let's try that again. So that goes into there. So maybe the arms are not all the way down. That goes into there, and that goes into there. Something. Yeah, we just got to lock these a bit more into place here. There we go. Make sure the legs are locked in. There we go. All right, my friends. Devastator is starting to come together very nicely. We got the gun here. And that, I think, just kind of slips over here. That actually does not go into the actual hand. It just clips onto one of these holes here. And now, it looks like Hasbro, in their infinite wisdom, which is absolutely brilliant, has left spaces to put the guns in. So let's figure out where the guns go, because I cannot remember which gun goes to who. So let's see. So it looks like we got this gun here, and that's going to go on the foot over here. So we're going to slide that in there. So that, I can't see that though. That's the gun, one of the guns right there. And then we're going to have one of the guns. I believe this one here is Bone Crusher's. So Bone Crusher's gun is going to go right over here. And then we're going to turn this around, and we got to have other slots for the other guns. And so this is brilliant. I was just thinking about where are we going to put the guns after so we don't lose them. So we got one of the guns, I'm just trying to make sure that I have the right gun for the right person. So one of the guns is going to go right here. We have this gun here. Will go on one of the arms here. I don't think I had the right gun. I think it's this gun here. Sorry, it's this gun here. That will go right here. And then the other two guns will go. One is going to go here. I think it's this one. No, must be this one here. There we go. And the last one is going to go on the top. Ugh. It's going to tag into Scavenger's little hook thing. So it's going to tag into there, it looks like. So let's plop that in, and then we can get a view of where all the guns go. There we go. All right. So we have the guns right there. So now we don't have to worry about where the guns are going to go. I had forgotten about that. So let's have a look at how Devastator looks now. So we have finally built Devastator, and you can see we got the original Devastator right over here, and you can see the size comparison. Like the original toy is like half the size of this giant guy, and it looks fantastic. I mean, the head shape, you can see the head shape is very similar to the original. It's got red eyes here. The original toy had yellow eyes, but the cartoon has red eyes, so that's how that worked. You can see the chest plate here is very, very similar, and this is very cartoon accurate. This was the original toy, and then obviously the cartoon kind of finessed it to make it look the way it looks in the cartoon, and they basically taken the concepts of the original toy and then took everything that we love about the cartoon and just made this awesome thing. So let's kind of like, I'm gonna turn the camera a little bit so I can see this a little bit nicer. Okay, very good. All right, so yeah, so this is front line part. So this thing looks sturdy. So I would have to say this is probably one of the nicest. Like this is probably, I don't know how Hasbro's going to top this. Now, years ago, they made the Titans Returns or some kind of Titan version of Devastator, and I actually have that. But that's a crazy thing to transform. I think I transformed it once, and I never want to touch it again because it's so hard. This is not too bad. This is really good. Let's check the articulation. Head turns, right? It's got a skinny head. I have to say. I think if there's anything that I don't like is the head looks really skinny. From the front, looks great. If he has to turn his head, he's like, why is his head so small? So I guess that's the only thing I don't love about this one. But hey, it is what it is. Um, and then the arms, oh, look at this. Great mobility there. Can turn like that. We got great mobility. I mean, the amount of engineering that took to do that, that's insane. Now, I don't know if the arms bend very well. It bends this way, but I don't think it ratchets like it doesn't bend the arm. I don't think, at least that one doesn't. Um, I guess you can bend it like that. So if you want to turn the hands like that, you absolutely could. And so if you wanted to bend it like that, you can. But obviously it looks better this way. So you can absolutely do it like that. You could. Okay, so the arm bends like that. Very good. Um, and so that's very good there. And then let's see this arm here with that gun, and this ratchets all the way around. Very good. And as far as the arm bend, again, same thing. If you wanted to bend it, it looks like you can bend it this way. Actually, that prevents it a little bit, so you have to bend that up. And so, yes, if you want to show it like with the gun shooting out or anything like that, you can do it like that. Knee bend. Let's check it out. I know this leg ratchets, and I think you have to lift this flap up for it to bend. Oh, yes, look at that. Look at that. Knee bend. Awesome. And now they have to be careful because this thing does detach. So let's check this out. Let's see if this knee bends here. Absolutely. So if you want to do a little squat, you definitely can. I don't know how he holds. No, not enough support for that. But let's see. If we did like a knee kind of bend like this, yeah, he could. I don't know if he can do a full bend, but you know, not bad, not bad. Let's see. Very good. I mean, whoo, that is one awesome combiner. Look at this thing. Let's go from behind. Back, I mean, it is what it is. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of kind of hiding back there. We don't usually look at the back too much anyways. And again, if I had a critique about this at all, is the head is pretty skinny as far as this width goes. They got it dead on here. Now you're turning the head and you're like, whoa, it doesn't look quite right. But yeah, this is a great transformer. My goodness. Let's see how Devastator looks now. Okay, so in the movie they fight the Dinobots, so now he looks very intimidating against the Dinobots. The Grimlock looks like his little kid brother now, whereas before Grimlock was towering over each and every one of them. So now he looks big. Okay. Now, and the famous scene with Sludge attacking him. Look at that. That looks great. So you can have him with the gun off, and let's like hauling this thing up in the air and just kind of throwing him. Oh my goodness. That's great. And then we have the Triceratops. Grab the Triceratops here. We have Snarl here chasing. We can pretty much reenact that whole scene now of the Dinobots. We even have Swoop that can kind of float in there. But yeah, my goodness, this is something. I have to say, this is quite the combiner. Hasbro did not disappoint on this one at all. Like, wow. Comparative to dinosaurs, very, very, very good proportions there. Let's get the gun back up. Put that right there. And again, if you want to have the guns out here like that, absolutely you can. All right, so let's get the Dinobots out of there. Let's kind of have him looking at other Transformers here in the line. But of course, we have to compare Optimus. Optimus looks very small against him, and he should be because, I mean, this is a combiner. And we have Galvatron as well. Galvatron, again, much, much smaller, as he should be against a combiner. Now, the question is, how does he compare to a Titan? So, in the cartoon, not the movie, but in the cartoon, one of Devastator's main nemesis is Omega Supreme. Now, I don't know how if the Titans class scales with the 86 line or not, but you can see Omega Supreme is still Supreme. In comparison, he is much, much, much bigger. And obviously, if they were supposed to be comparable in height in the movie, not so comparable here. And Omega Supreme is supposed to be Titan class, so I don't know. And so I don't know if Devastator is supposed to be a lot bigger than he actually is, or Omega Supreme is supposed to be a lot smaller. But of course, this is a Titan class. It doesn't really supposed to scale with the Studio Series, but it's nice to see what that comparison looks like. And you can see that, in a fight, Omega Supreme is so much bigger. He will destroy. If it's based on size and the fact that his claw can just kind of rip his head off, look at the size of that claw. Yeah, Devastator will probably lose really, really badly. But anyways, that was a fun comparison. I just wanted to see, what does Omega Supreme look like next to Devastator? All right, but yeah, so different toy line. I mean, still Transformers, but we're not sure how the Titan class is supposed to kind of go with that. If we want to look at other Transformers in this line, we're looking at Soundwave. Looks pretty small next to him, as he should be. I don't have too many Decepticons, and we're going to change that. We are going to be unboxing very, very soon this fella here, which is Megatron. And so, Megatron is going to be much smaller than Devastator as well. So we will be doing that probably next week. I wanted to get the Constructicons done because that was on my, oh my god, I gotta get this wish list. And I'm so happy with the final result. It's been a while in the making. You know, when they first announced it, it was almost a year ago that they announced that they're doing a Studio Series 86 Devastator. And my god, was it worth the wait? This thing is just, oh my goodness, this is just amazing. I honestly believe this is one of the best Devastators they've ever made. I can't see how they would top this unless they make a head that's better portion. But outside of that, my God, this is what a feat of engineering. So let's just see if I can get this, posed in a different way. There we go. I mean, my goodness, guys. Um, I hope you enjoyed this adventure with me on the Constructicons. The combiners are, among my favorite Transformers. The Dinobots and all the combiners kind of rank up there. And yeah, Devastator is just amazing. This thing is just wow. So, guys, thank you so much for watching. This is Chucky from Collecting for Fun. I know this has been a little bit longer video, but I mean, it's the Constructicons. This is Devastator, and we definitely have to give it its due. Given the length of the video, as I said, I'm not transforming back into vehicles. We did the vehicle one the other day, and now this is Devastator, and it's amazing. What do you guys think of Devastator, guys? Do you think it's amazing like I do? To me, yeah, I don't know how they top this one. I don't think they need to make another Devastator. They can just keep releasing this one, I guess. Anyways, thanks so much for watching. This is Chucky from Collecting for Fun. Please hit the subscribe button if you're currently not a subscriber. Most of the people that watch our videos have not subscribed yet, so it really helps the channel. It doesn't cost you a thing, and it really does help support the channel. And if please like the video, and then obviously if you have friends or family that are also Transformers lovers, please share this video with them so they can also see what this is all about. So thanks again so much for watching. And again, oh, and just a reminder, on our way to 1,000, we're getting there, we're getting there, we're getting there. We are going to get our Robosen Grimlock. It transforms by itself, and it has the same voice as the original voice actor. So we're looking forward to doing a grand opening of that and pair that with a Robosen Optimus Prime. All right, guys. Thanks so much for watching. You guys take care. Bye.